welcome back to Cuban with a Twist. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we're going to make a Cuban style surf and turf and a pastry puff. Almost like a pastelito, but we're going to raise the bar up. We're going to make it a little bit more fancy schmancy for a dinner night, a date night, somebody you want to impress. We're going to start off with quite a few ingredients. It looks like a lot, but it's really not a lot. I've got a half a pound of the shrimp that has been cleaned and deveined. I've got a couple of pounds of filet mignon. Now, I have bought a whole slab, and it's come out to be about $9.99 a pound for myself, which is a great deal. Every once in a while you come across it. Slice it up. You can get anywhere from 10 to 12 steaks from it, and then you just season them and freeze them. Pull them out as you need them. Okay? So we've got some truffle salt. I've got some black pepper, some cumin. I've got a shallot. I've got a poblano pepper. I've got a couple of the cherry tomatoes. A lemon, garlic, some fresh basil, okay? And then I've got my pastry puff that I have sitting out here. So it's not gonna get to room temperature, but it's just defrosting enough. So where we're gonna start right now is we've got a bag for baking. We're gonna put our pepper in, which I'm gonna slice down the middle, okay? And then I'm just gonna put in like little chunks. Now you can use a spicy pepper, you can use a mild pepper. I suggest a pepper with just enough flavor to add a little spark to your dish, but not so overwhelming that it becomes too spicy, okay? You don't want all the flavors to get lost in just the pepper. So I'm just gonna slice these down the middle. Nothing fantastic, nothing super fancy, just right down the middle, because we're gonna bake in that bag with a lot of moisture. Excuse me. I'm going to toss that all in here. And you're probably wondering why I'm using a bag this time. I'm using a bag because I want to keep the moisture. So I'm going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil. Okay, we're going to put a nice pinch of the truffle salt in there. Again, you can use any kind of salt that you like. I prefer the truffle salt. It's got the earthy feel to it. I'm going to put a little bit of black pepper. There we go. Tiny bit of cumin. Just a little sprinkle. And I've got my oven at 350, and I'm going to leave this in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes, checking on it. I want to wait until the tomatoes are so tender that they just pop. Okay? Mixing it up. Now we're going to toss it in. See, this dish is pretty quick, but the end product is so pretty, I think it's going to amaze you. So now that we have the peppers and the tomatoes roasting in the oven, I've got my shrimp in front of me, and I'm just going to season it. And we're going to let it sit aside while we work on the pastry puffs. Lemon. Slice down the middle. Just squeeze it. You're going to see that some of the shrimp might even turn a little bit pink. No, it's not cooked. But, there we go. Now we're going to put a little bit of the truffle salt. Make sure that everything gets covered. Okay. Quick rinse. We're going to drizzle it with a little bit of olive oil. A little bit of pepper, and we're going to set it aside. Okay, perfect. We're going to let that marinate for about half an hour. Okay, now we're going to work with the pastry puff. Probably one of my most favorite things to work with because it's so diverse. Pastry puffs can even be salty, or they can be really sweet, and so many things in between. So today we're going to start off. I've got my pastry puff. I need some flour, because if not, it's just going to be a sticky mess. So we're just going to put some flour down. Pastry puff. Open it up. To be a little bit delicate because you don't want to Okay. I put flour on both sides, and I'm just going to roll it out a little bit. Not too much, but just enough to make it even. Okay. Okay, I've got mine in the shape of a starfish. You can use any kind of shape you'd like. So it's just down, pressing, wiggle it a little bit, and there you have it. Oh, this side's a little bit. This one got a little bit stuck, so we'll just take it out. Perfect. Okay, we got one little star. Put it out there like that. Okay, we're going to brush a little bit of this mixture that I prepared. It's a little bit of real butter, okay, with a tiny bit of fresh garlic and a little spoonful of olive oil. And I'm just going to brush it on. This will give it a little bit of color and a great flavor. And then I'm going to put these in the oven. It's going to take about 15 to 18 minutes, 350 degrees. And we'll take a look at what they look like. Welcome back. Now it's time for us to chop up the shallots. I've got a saute pan ready to go with a little bit of olive oil. Okay, perfect. Toss it in there. It's just a matter of a few minutes before our dish is put together perfectly. Okay, we're just going to throw the steaks in there, and we want this to be nice and hot. Perfect. And we're going to let that cook about 6 to 8 minutes on each side, and we'll be right back. We pulled the steaks out. We're letting them rest a few minutes, and while that's resting, I'm going to toss the shrimp in. The shrimp is quick. Just going to throw that in there, flip it around a little bit, and we'll be ready to go. Okay, we've got all of our ingredients ready to go. We're just going to plate, all right? We're just going to slice it. Thin slices. Nice, there we go. Okay, perfect. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to nicely place it in between the two pastry puffs. We're going to chop a little bit more. Now I made this one a little bit medium well because my daughter that's joining me today, she likes hers a little bit better cooked. I prefer it medium to medium rare. Okay, got a few more pieces. Place that nicely right in the middle. All right, we're going to place a few of the shrimp. Just like that. We're going to take some of our red, remember we roasted some peppers and some tomatoes, and we're just going to top it. Give it some really nice deep color. I'm going to chop up some fresh basil. And not only is this going to look really pretty against the colors, but it's also going to give it a nice fresh taste. So it's just tiny little pieces. Nothing big, nothing too much. You don't want to overpower the dish with the basil. Okay. A little lemon zest.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Now look at all those colors that come together. Tiny little sprinkle of salt. And a little dash of pepper. And here we go. We've got our plate. Beautiful dish. This is our version of a fancy surf and turf with great pastry puffs on the side. Thank you so much for watching us. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and find us always on syndicatednews.net.